Good morning, everybody, and a very warm welcome to today's episode of Ask the Accountant. The episode number is number 68. The date is the 5th of February, so that means we're out of January. Woohoo! And I have with me Johann, as always. Johann, how has your weekend been? How's your week been? How does it feel to not have to worry about tax returns for another, 365 days, technically? I mean, look, we'll do it beforehand, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's been rather good. We got our last tax return filed at 2:00 on the Wednesday. So ever since then, we've been sat there like from 2:00. I was like, oh my god, what have we forgotten? Who have we forgotten? Last minute, that's anything. It's like this is too easy. This is too calm. But no, it all worked out fine. So yeah, it was good. We were done and dusted, and then I had the most mental Thursday, Friday I've had in a long time. The problem is I've just put everything off. I've said to every single client, I'll come back to this email on the 1st. I'll come back to that on the 2nd. And then I realized I'd got like 50 plus tasks per day for 2 days to try and catch up on. And it's like, crap. I misjudged that quite badly, people. But yeah, no, other than that, it was a very nice weekend. Like I just switched off, completely chilled, switched off, enjoyed the Six Nations, and back refreshed, ready to go again, ready for all the joys of February. So, you know, we've already got meetings scheduled in with the team to start planning 24-25's tax return periods and 23-24's tax return period. We're already looking at like, what do we want to change? What do we want to improve? What tools have we got now that we didn't have a year ago? So we can implement those tools from day one rather than halfway through the tax chasing season. So like automated emails and forms weren't available in Client Engager this time last year. They are now. Email linking is coming into Client Engager before April. Timesheets is coming in before April. So we're going to take all of that into account as to how we plan and process our systems ready for the next push, in the hope that we actually make life easier for ourselves again, and we get ahead of the game. I think we will, because we've already got notes. Like every year I've made notes now for this year I've made notes on, right, this person didn't have a UTR number, they need to register. This person is registered but actually needs taking off the system because it's no longer relevant, blah blah blah. So whereas normally I'd sit there going, does that person still need a tax return? I can't remember this time last year. So yeah, we're working on a more slicker, improved system, because we'll still do tax returns to the last minute because clients need that. You know, some clients' behaviours are going to change. You know, if you want to turn off your tax return service in October, then fine, good for you. But we're not going to do that. But yeah, so we're just trying to make sure if we want to do that and we want to support our clients, we've got the best processes and systems in place, ready for the time ahead, basically.
Because even if you think about it, this time last year, you weren't properly using. I know you were set up, but you were like just kind of learning the bits and what's it going to do for you and everything else, aren't you? So the fact that even this year has been better for you, next year, like you said, with all the new features and stuff coming, it's that's the point, right? Client Engager's growing and new features are being added because actual accountants are going, I'm struggling to do XYZ. I've got this gap or this pain point. How can you help? And that's where it's coming from, right?
Exactly. So yeah. So I think, and it's quite nice in like the Client Engager community at the moment. We're all sat there asking the same questions and going, how's everyone overcoming this bit?
Yeah.
Can that mean that we can solve that bit? And then everyone's sharing ideas, and everyone's walking away kind of going, we're going to take a bit of this, bit of that, and do it this way.
Exactly.
And that's the key.
Let's say hello to the most important people of our podcast, and that is the listeners themselves. First of all, over to Instagram, we've got Bobby. Good morning, Bobby. How are you doing? Unfortunately, I can't highlight your questions, but glad for you to be listening, and the other listeners that are over in the Instagram land as well. Good morning. Paul says, morning, A and J. So good morning to you, Paul. Hope you January went well for you. Louise Moore says, good morning, Louise. And Paul says, got through the finish line at 20:56. Ouch. But yeah, no surprise with some of the horror stories you were telling us, Paul. But yeah, glad you got through the finish line. That's good to see. Ashley says, good morning, gents. I missed you. I've got a notification today. Good to hear that. Great to hear that, Ashley. Good to see you here. And Paul says, good morning. Good morning, Paul. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, it looks like everyone's kind of got over it. I've not seen anyone who completely failed and completely didn't make it this year. I feel like we all collectively managed to get over there, but yeah, some were closer to the deadline than others. I don't think ours was quite as 20:56. I think there was one or two waiting to be signed at a late point, but apart from that, yeah, it was just we've already gone over it, and it was just one of those years where clients just didn't want to hand their information in. As simple as that. So what can you do about it?
I think we said it last week, didn't we, Aaron, that we're all looking backwards with rose-tinted glasses and fondness to COVID times when clients wanted their tax returns doing quickly because they were going to get a refund or they needed the information for a grant or something. We're now back to paying tax and, in most cases, paying next year's tax on top.
Yeah,
and everyone's like, oh, I'm going to hold off that. I'm going to avoid that, even though we all know and that it has no bearing on when you pay your tax as when you file, but clients will not be told. So yeah, I think we're now that nice period is over and people are getting refunds and stuff. I think that's why we're going to start seeing people defaulting back to old habits of head in the sand. We'll wait until the last minute because we don't want to see that bill until the last minute.
Yeah, exactly. Sizu Bookkeeping in the Instagram as well. Good morning to you. And then Victoria Russell. Good morning, chaps. Right, let's go on with some of our topics of the day. I'm going to be completely honest. I think I've misread the first topic because basically I saw that there was a big update to Dext, and we all love some innovation in the world of accounting. And yeah, they've definitely. Well, my first initial reaction was this is very innovative and I'm really impressed and everything else, but maybe I got it wrong. Let's just go through what the update is. It says, and this is from a beta test, and it says that emails are now visible in Dex Prepare. And they said, I repeat, emails are visible in Dex Prepare. Now, when I first saw it, and there's a couple of screenshots and stuff on this article that I can kind of look into and trying to piece it all together, right? So my initial reaction was, this is the ability, and again, we don't know enough about this, but we're just going to put it out there. Let's see what
we'll stir the pot. We'll come up with some fake news anyway. Let's see what we can do.
But the idea,
ready.
Essentially, is the idea that we could attach the emails or attach an inbox directly to Dext, so it could scrape away for you instead of having to do it at the moment where we're forwarding to a particular email address, or you get your client forward to a particular email address. We all know the problems with that because, what if you want to move platforms, or what if Dex has an update and they change the email or anything like that, right? And also, as accountants, we always feel like we're kind of missing a step, or we're not involved in some of the step, right? If you just give that email to a client and hope for the best, who knows if it fails or it's going into a black hole or anything like that. If you can't look at that and you can't see that, then you're potentially not going to get that data. So when I first saw this, my brain went into overdrive, and the idea of emails index prepare being added was the idea that you could go in and attach the email address, email account somehow, work with your client to do that, just like you do with getting your bank attached to QuickBooks or Xero or something like that. And then that will do the hard bit of scraping through the thing, trying to find all those PDFs and invoices and getting them into Prepare. Now, again, we're not saying this is what this feature is or isn't, but if that is, would we see that as a positive and a game-changing update, or do we not see that would ever take off? What's your opinion?
My concern is if that was how it did work, right? So if I plugged my emails in via an API into Dext and it was reading every single email and working out whether it was a invoice or not, I'd say that's more fallible than emails not being received by Dext when you send them manually. Because what's it looking for to justify it being an invoice in its mind?
Yeah.
Right. has it got a certain amount of trigger points like dates, amounts, descriptions, for certain formats? Like, what's it looking for? Because let's face it, you and I get enough bleeding emails of subscriptions that we've got where ultimately, if we want that actual invoice, we need to go click on the link in the email and go and download it from the account. But most of them are American, so they're non-vatable. So actually, it's a non-issue. You could just put that email into your records. But yeah, if Dext is scraping your emails, at what point does it go, we're happy that's an invoice? Because every subscription email looks bleeding different. And at what point does it go, we don't think that is an invoice, but actually it is, and it misses it? Yeah.
I mean, that's down to the AI, isn't it? And I think we've all agreed on that the AI, we're still in the infancy of what AI can do for us, right? So it does feel like that if that was what they're looking to do, or if that, again, I don't think it is, but if that's what it is, then the technology now isn't quite right for it, but the technology in the future, that could be really powerful. Yeah, let's get as much of those AI goodness into and solve another pain point. And one of the pain points we've always had from clients is, how do we get the data from them in the first place? How do we make it really slick and easy? They see how easy it is to attach a bank statement or bank account to say that works well for us, and that's solved a lot of pain points. We still get pain points here and there, but majority of the time, no pain whatsoever. But trying to get the actual individual invoices off them, there's been lots and lots of opportunities, from purple envelopes that get sent out that get returned back to, the idea once when we just attach all our individual Amazon and everything else, did screen scraping and all that. They've all been there. They've all failed and got better or been completely obliterated by technology over the past. But we've still never found that sweet spot of, okay, we're going to onboard you as a client, we're going to attach your bank, and we're going to attach this XYZ solution, and all our problems have gone away. We're not there yet, are we?
No. No, and the problem is Dex have built this now, and this isn't just a Dex problem. This is general technology. Auto entries had the same problem. I can't remember if HubDoc ever had the feature, but like, we all thought this is the future. We can link through APIs into Amazon and all these like Vodafone and BT and get all the bills in. That's amazing. And then they brought out two-factor authentication.
Yeah.
And it destroyed that whole product. How long until, if this is a link into some emails, how long until Dex can't do that anymore? Because email providers have decided that there's potentially confidential information emails, and for that reason, we're going to build it in such a way you can't scrape information from the emails. Like, I don't know how long the shelf life is. And I think that's my biggest concern at the moment now. And that's my biggest learning from all of these tools in the last 6 years, is this feature is really cool, whatever feature it is.
Yep.
What's its shelf life?
Yeah.
And we've been burnt, and we've been made to look like idiots with our clients with the two-factor authentication. Like, comments, when the client comments that this is more hassle than it's worth.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, you're completely right. And it's out of our control, but it's our fault for recommending it.
And that's down to us to a point, though, isn't it? It's that shiny thingy syndrome, isn't it? Like the idea that we see something shiny and we just gravitate. And we both know ourselves, we've got to learn to taper expectation, put a few more controls in place before we jump ship or whatever it's going to be. But you're right, that is kind of that's always been an issue for us, right? And just going to the chat, just straight to Louise. Yeah, exactly. This is where I looked into it further. So Louise got it on the head there. I haven't looked at the Dex update, but wonder if it's just Doka where you can view the email along with a PDF invoice, which, yeah, okay, it's a significant update. I can imagine that's going to be quite useful. Not quite as groundbreaking as I kind of first thought it was when I first saw it. But the idea that you can see the email trail just helps, doesn't it? It gives some context, I suppose. Well, it's as a bookkeeper, it just gives you that opportunity to see the whole holistic view if you need to, doesn't it? That's it. That's what it does for you.
If all it's pulling in is the email from that's covering the invoice from Xero or QuickBooks, what does that email tell you that the invoice doesn't?
Xero in QuickBooks, yes, because that wouldn't. But if it's like a Vodafone one, and it says, "Congratulations, you've now got this discount applied," or something, it might just give us some context to what a line item is or something. That's all I can see it being useful for. And is it groundbreaking? I'm not sure. I don't know if it is, if I'm honest. Going forward, is this a sort of thing where, from a FMS solution, so your QuickBooks, Xero, Sage, whatever, do we need to be considering, keeping a copy of the invoice and the email chain? And is that the metadata we need going forward to be able to do our job? I don't know if we do, but maybe that's what we should be looking at in terms of a true making tax digital world. I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, put it this way: when I'm looking at document capturing tools, this isn't going to be a "have you got this feature?" Well, I'm not. If not, then I'm not coming near you type feature. Like, we're even sat there at the moment considering whether we actually need a document capturing tool that has an app available.
Really? Okay.
Because
is this in the whole pain point for clients issue?
Yeah, because how many clients are actually using the app now? Dext, like we don't get this information from auto entry like we do with Dext, but Dext is really open about this is how many of your invoices that you're processing are coming from the app, email, and websites. We were under 3% of app documents came from the app. The rest were coming from that. So now when I'm sat there looking at these options on the market, actually what used to be a red line for me, oh, you don't have an app, don't want to know. I'm now sat there going, well, it's not a deal breaker anymore, that. I can look elsewhere. And does that mean I can get a better deal elsewhere because I don't need an app?
Yeah. And the quality of the data from an app is always subject anyway, isn't it? Because you're relying on how good that camera is, how good that person is at taking photos, there's a lot of factors there that are out of your control, right?
Yeah. And, I'm in a lucky position, as is all Client Engager users, of we have an app for clients. So if my clients really want to do taking photos on their phone and just put them somewhere, well, they can put that into the Client Engager app. I can then click a button to download all of those invoices into a zip folder. I can just drag that into auto entry Dext or whatever tool I'm using. So I'm solving that problem with a minor manual intervention, but it also solves the headache of too many apps for the client.
Yeah.
So
because ultimately installing that app's going to give them more functionality, isn't it? Like,
yeah, and
compliance.
I know based on the figures from Dext how few people were using it. So actually, that minor manual intervention's quite minor. It's not an issue. And also, the people that are generally doing it aren't the high volume users. They're the 2 or 3 documents a week or month type clients. They're not the ones that have got hundreds of documents a month going through. They're forwarding. That's what they're doing. So yeah, it is what it is. Like, I think, yeah, this is another feature that's nice to have, but it's not a deal breaker. And I think Dext need to be finding deal breaking features at the moment. Like, they need to be going. Because of their price change, you need to sit there and go, that feature is so important that all of these other tools are no longer an option anymore. I've got to go with this one regardless of the price.
Yeah, agreed. And to me, that's where I thought this was going to be. Like, again, I misread it. That's completely on me. This is not a dig at them at all. I'm the one who's misinformed. I was the one who misread it. I was the one that took the wrong. But I am like you. I'm still waiting for that big innovation, that big must-have feature. Yeah. And I don't know, what is out there? What can they do with us, with the current technology we have, that's going to solve that pain point? Maybe I'm being too blindsided by it all, but I don't see what else they can do. Is there anything out there that we can we can look at? Is there anything else that we could expect from these solutions, or are we kind of at stalemate at the moment with what they can do for us?
I think that's why we're not in the job, isn't it?
Agreed.
Because we don't see we haven't got the insight for the innovation. Like I'm sure there's stuff that all of these software companies are working on that will potentially blow our minds, but I've not heard what it is. So actually, what I'm more interested in is, can I get these features as powerful, or a subset of the features that I actually use? Because there's a lot of dead weight around Dext, auto entry, HubDoc, that features that I've never used, never looked at. And if I can get the core set of features that I actually want at a better price, or better reliability, or better whatever it is, then that's what's driving me at the moment, not which one of these is going to have the biggest innovation for the year ahead. Because my concern is that the biggest innovation was in document capturing was the ability for it to log into your accounts and pull your documents.
Fetch, yeah.
And within a year or two, that was completely sunk by two-factor authentication. So you, yeah, I'm dubious that they've got anything groundbreaking to bring.
Okay,
and a lot of it is now tweaks, and it's like, it's not a deal breaker of a tweak anymore, guys. Like, reliability or speed of processing. It's like, well, I don't need you to process a document in 30 seconds. I need it to be there the next day. So as long as they've got that, I don't really care.
And you think, though, that given a tiered approach where it is more of a, you get to go to the suite store and you get to pick what suite you want, and you get to pick a mix of your choice, right? And if you want to pay for, the processing in 30 seconds feature, then you want that option. That's for you. You think that's where it's more transparent pricing, isn't it, than opposed to...
I'd pay for that. So yeah, we should have a core price, and then everything else that, I mean, I suppose it is like Netflix. Like, I pay a fixed price per month. I watch probably 1 or 2% of the content on there. I mean, it doesn't help that I just keep rewatching Big Bang Theory. Like, that doesn't help. But I watch a very small percentage, and there's a lot of technically dead weight. So I'm paying for a lot of stuff I don't and won't ever watch. But when it comes to software, we seem to be bloating all these softwares with all these new features that very few use. Like, when you look at it, I do wonder how many people actually use any of these features. And actually, could software vendors be this is the core offering and this is the price. We've got all of these cool bolt-ons, but you choose which ones you want. Like O2 pay-as-you-go used to be, this is what you get for £10 a month.
Yeah.
You want, if you want international fee roaming, then that's this much a month. And you're like, well, actually, I don't do international, so that's not an issue and stuff. So you could tailor your pricing better to suit you. I think that would get us better value. But yeah, whilst any features that aren't groundbreaking, I think need to be we can throw this in for X amount if you want it. It's like, maybe not. But
yeah. I think devil's advocate on that is, do we want to make it a core feature plus add-ons? The problem you have there, though, is then you're making it more complicated to even explain to your client what the pricing features, right? We've got to own that as some way. We've got to find a way to turn that into a price structure that makes sense to a client. Well, we should be able to figure it out where, we can see the pain points, we can see the value of adding X, Y, Z, but then trying to convert that into something that the clients will understand, and then maintaining your billing structure so that they can, they've taken this add-on this month, but they didn't need it the next month, or however it's going to work. That's where I suppose the devil's advocate would be, actually, that's where just having one price fits all is better, isn't it? It's a binary on and off. Do we have it on? Do we not? If we have it on, we'll use all the features. If we don't, we don't. And I feel that's a difficult one, because I'm still, when it comes to pain points, one of the ones that as accountants we've still not solved and we just accept and we get on with is actually billing clients in terms of, features that and add-ons and passing on cost to clients. At the moment, we just try and bundle it in and hope we've kind of got it right. Only last week was I able to finally, in the history of Bofix, was I able to do one spreadsheet that says, here's everything that I charge or I'm charged for by QuickBooks, and here's what I charge out to my clients. And oh look, I've covered my costs here, there, and here, but I haven't here. And I've never been able to do that on a line by line basis until it's taken me 5 years to get to that point. And I feel like we're already struggling at just passing over our FMS, as we have to call it now, subscriptions. You add more subscriptions to the plate, that's when it gets difficult, right? And maybe it's a case of they need to make that bit easier for us. If they can nail that bit of, well, how do we pass it on? Even if it's just we pass it on directly to them, or however it's going to be, that seems to be a better, or something that I would say was innovating, is just how we just help us deliver that service, help us be able to provide that service to clients.
Yeah, no, I agree that's where we need to see the transparency of what clients are using, and clients don't want a load of apps that they're not using anymore. So like, we used to give clients access to SIF Analytics. No one ever logged in and used it. I know they didn't, because they never accepted the bleeding invitation.
Exactly.
So we either give them the live report view on the window using a hyperlink, which again, I'm not convinced many people ever used, or we just download PDFs and put them into Client Engage's portal for them. So I'm still not convinced that they download them and read them, but I've made it as simple as I can now. It's they don't have to go into multiple places. So yeah, I think there's a general app fatigue in both the industry and both in our clients. Like, I don't know about you, but I keep looking at my phone, and the best feature on the Apple phone is the fact that it offloads apps that you don't use. Like, I love that, because it's so rare I ever go, oh, where's that app gone? Oh, I've got to wait for that app to install because I've not used it in ages. Like, it's offloaded for a reason, because I never use it. So yeah, and there's a lot of this whole, like, 3 years ago, it was very much look at this spider web of apps that we're using in our firm. This is amazing. Like, actually, though, when you look at social media and stuff now, people are very much like slimming down their app stacks, and especially the client-facing app stacks. People go, no, we just have this, and this. Like, fine, okay. I think that is the trend that we're going to see going forwards, is this slimming down process, where we're going away from, we're still using best in class behind the scenes potentially, but the client interactions are becoming slimmer and slimmer.
Yeah. And also, we want to, as accountants, we want to own that journey, don't we? I think that was a big wake up call for me, was that whole owning the journey argument that we heard, and that makes so much sense, because actually that's one of the pain points that clients have, because they're going, well, I love my accountant, but they're making me use this piece of software and it's so frustrating to use, and I've got this headache and that headache, or whatever it's going to be. And actually that is a face of your accounting firm, isn't it? It's the same argument we always have. It's that's going to give a reputation of how slick or how convenient you are as a firm to that client. Is going to be based on what experience you give them. And if they're going to have multiple logins, or having to jump between this and this, or doesn't quite work, or it just keeps breaking on them, it is, unfortunately, it's the firm that gets the negativity out of that, not the app, isn't it? And that's one thing we've got to be really careful of.
Yeah, because we've made the recommendation, so it's built on that trust of that relationship with us.
Exactly. Right. So let's go through comments then. Actually, I'm just going back one. It's all down to educating our clients, don't you think, gents? Do you really understand the benefits from an early return? Completely agree. Problem is that yeah, it's difficult to get some of those clients. We're really lucky with our subset of clients. Most of them completely understand that. That's exactly it. But we still have ones that just they won't change, and we have to have that conversation one day. Are they the right client to us? But ultimately, it's going to go from there. Louise says sometimes the purchase details are only held on email and not PDF, which is exactly why that email metadata could be really powerful. Abs has a question, so we might see that question going forward. Kirsty says total agree. Bit of client overload as to how to send the stuff. Zero HubDoc email and client engagement, they get confused. Yeah, and it's not maybe sometimes not always about they confuse. It's sometimes good to have those multiple options for them so that you can give them an option that works for them. But then from a practice point of view, we then need to figure out how to, document how they're sending that information in. Like, is it a field in client engager or whatever it's going to be? But that's the thing, right? As you grow or you add more team members or whatever it's going to be, you need to be able to quickly be able to onboard and put clients' information through. So Rachel says great stuff for Mr. Gorey. Abs is still asking this question. Kirsty says totally agree. A bit of client overload. I've already written that one. Yep, sorry, read that one twice. Dex position is pretty good. Makes it slightly easier to use. And Ashley says,
just stop there a minute.
Okay, right.
Slightly easier to use. Does that justify the price increase and changing pricing model? Because it's slightly easier to use.
Yeah,
it goes back to that game changer, doesn't it? Like we need game changing features that are undisputably good, that go like blow your mind to justify changing in pricing structures and stuff. Slightly easier is not justification in my view.
Yeah, I mean, we had this.
It's great, but
I suppose what we got to remember is we had this argument before, didn't we? In terms of Dex, arguably still best in class. Auto entry very, very close behind. Their increase in price wasn't necessarily increase; it was more of an alignment with everyone was on the same pricing point, wasn't it? And the argument then is, have they aligned correctly? And that's why I think you're right to say there where they haven't, because they priced themselves out of the market for a feature that, yes, maybe best in class, but isn't enough of a overhaul to go, that's a justification, isn't it? And I think that's where it doesn't fit right.
Yeah.
Ashley says, when I worked for Digital, it was surprising how many of my customers were scratched the surface of the software. We had a feature in the software that was purposely added for a big four out of the customers, but our customers never used it. Do you think the software providers just add loads of features to make it look better than another product? Well, they've kind of got, that's the name of the game, isn't it? They have to go out there and show this feature, that feature. I'll always remember back in the day when looking at, do we jump to accounting manager or not, when that was one of the only options. And the feature they threw out there was that 64.8 feature. It was like, get your clients on. It never properly worked as it should have done. It was never, but it was that feature that stood out and went, oh, okay, let's go in and get that one. And the argument about not using all of the features in there, that's argument for every piece of software out there. How many people know how to properly use Excel? Like vertical lookups, if statements, substitute formulas, macros, the list can go on, right? And that's using Excel, really is using all the features there. But a lot of people just quite happily get by with just having it as a way of just analyzing
equals sums bracket.
Yeah, exactly, right. And the people go level. Yeah. So it's always going to be tricky, right? And that's where people make successful YouTube careers out of showing people how it works, right? And that's why podcasts are here, because it's about showing those elements of it. So yeah, it's always going to be a tricky one. But if they didn't offer all these features, then we wouldn't have the innovation, would we? So we kind of it's a chicken and egg scenario, isn't it?
The thing is, software companies will sit down and they'll listen to all their users, and their users will ask for stuff and they just won't use it. So we get it all the time at Client Engager. We're building out loads of features, and actually that all the features have been requested, they've been voted on, they're really high demand. But actually, when it comes to implementation, some of the people that have shouted the loudest for a feature never actually come to use it. It's really interesting. It's like, oh, it'd be great to have this. I could do this and do that. But then they forget actually that takes time to implement for them. And that even if it doesn't take time to implement because it's really easy to use, it still means them changing their routines and habits to incorporate that feature into their processes. And they don't do it. So yeah, they'll always, like, I think working papers in QuickBooks is the best thing since sliced bread. Most people don't use it.
Yeah.
But
or didn't even know it was there.
Or didn't know it was there. But yeah, like basically, if you don't feel you're getting value out of your software, the first question you have to ask yourself, are you using all the features? If the answer is no, whose fault's that? Is that your fault because you've just not looked or you've not changed your routines and habits to incorporate those features? Or is it the software provider's fault for not educating, training, and making awareness of it?
Yeah, 100%. Dave's in. Good morning, Dave. Rachel's here. Time to use just Client Engager for client facing. Like the sound of that. All right.
I'm not going to argue with that one.
From one misnews and fake news to another, Xero retiring classic invoicing. Dun dun dun. I think this is a time when we can actually give Xero a bit of a pat on the back because they've got a lot of stick for this, from what I can tell. It seems like there's a lot of people out there not happy about that they're being forced to change and forced to move on to a new functionality and forced to move over to the new enhanced invoicing as opposed to the classic invoicing. But actually, if they don't do it, none of these new features can happen, right? There's a reason that the old architecture is being retired. There's a reason that thing, and it comes back down to education and putting that communication out there. I think the one thing that needs to be explained more is, well, what functionality are we getting from this new invoicing? Or
even if it's not today, what's coming up in the future?
Exactly. And that's the key bit, right? If we have that information and we're told that, with this new enhanced invoicing, you're going to be able to automatically do bookkeeping in the future, or whatever it's going to be, right? Because there's going to be some functionality they're looking for in their roadmap going forward. I think that just needs to be better communicated, doesn't it? But yeah, it seems to have got a bit of a stink. But then every time that any software out there retires the old version that we're all excited, that we've all got that comfort.
Change of UI.
Yeah. What can we do? Like they've got to do it. So yeah, there's a bit of a stink. I don't see why. But that's what it is at the moment. With them going forward, though, I wonder if this is to do with this whole new EU ruling and everything else. Do you reckon they're even forced into it with this one? Is this a case where the old one wasn't complying, the new one is?
I don't know if it's forced or if it's planned ready for it. But yeah, like they've obviously decided the old invoicing platform wasn't suitable for the future developments. I'm going on that assumption. Although Xero do like to change their UI for the sake of changing UIs. But like, if we look at, so we know QuickBooks inside out, right? We know their reporting tool is undergoing some changes. As the accounting council, we have had it explained to us why and the benefits that are going to come over the next 3 to 4 years because of it.
Yeah.
And so for us, it's understandable. It makes sense. But QuickBooks and Xero need to go, right, we're changing this and this is why. This is the vision. Because if you don't explain the vision of the change, then how can your users get on board with it? You're still going to have a subset of users go, well, I don't need that. I still want the old view. Why can't the old view do this? It's like, well, move on. Like, do you see this repercussion when Meta changes how a button on WhatsApp or something, or Facebook or something? So
it's the end of the world.
Yeah, it is, to be fair, yeah. But yeah, I just think if you're going to change it, you need to explain the vision. I don't think software companies are very good at explaining the vision behind the change at the moment.
I suppose the devil's advocate is, though, how do you get that news out there? because you're never going to get it right. You're never going to get to everyone, are you? Right? It's really, really difficult. You know yourself, like how many times, and we've seen it. You know, someone's someone said on some of the client engager forums, "Oh, I wish client engager could do X, Y, Z. That'd make my life so much easier." And you've smugly gone, "Yes, done that since
it's been there for a year."
Yeah, you know what I mean. But it's not the person's fault for not knowing. It's just that however that news or that new feature was put out there, it's not got to them, right? And it's the same with this. Like, we could do podcasts, we could do videos, we could do blog posts, we could do every form of medium in the world, but getting it to every single eyeball it needs to get to, that's really, 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 really difficult, isn't it? So,
especially when people keep unsubscribing. Like, people go, "Oh, I didn't know about the QuickBooks event." So, have you unsubscribed from their emails in the past? Yeah. Well, what do you bloody expect?
Yeah.
Like, would you know, if you're going to unsubscribe, the downside of unsubscribing is you may miss important information.
Yeah.
So,
or the amount of people complain that there's a pop-up that's just come in, and you know, yeah, we all hate pop-ups, but actually they're there for a reason. Like, they're telling us, they're going smacking you in the face saying, look, there's this brand new feature here, or there's this new change we're having to do, or, you know, don't forget about this. And the amount of people who get, and I get frustrated as well, but it's like, there's no win situation, is there? There's always going to be someone turn around and go, you know what, that's not right for me. I want it to be this way to get told. And I think that's where we've got to find. We've all got to kind of. Yeah. Or they're on the podcast with us, and they're always on the podcast with us every single month, and we talk about the feature on a monthly basis, and they still didn't know it was here. So yeah, we love you, really, Charlie. Anyway, so next one, but yeah, change. It's out there. That's what we need to go. Right. What else we got? Rachel says, I think all software providers ought to provide a live webcast weekly to demonstrate their features and answer user questions. Maybe on a Wednesday evening. Love the idea, Rachel. But if everyone was on a Wednesday evening, how would that? Which one do you choose?
Like, stop sharing my secrets. Like, but that's a prime example, right? I've done a live webinar or a live stream into our Facebook group pretty much weekly for over a year now.
Yeah.
People are still surprised that we do it. And every week, 3 or 4 people will ask, is this recorded so I can watch it back? It's like, yes, they're all on this. They're all on the Facebook page wall. You can watch them back whenever you like. I've even started putting them on the help section, but people are still asking. It's like, it doesn't matter how many times you say it, someone else is going to come into the conversation new and is not going to have read that or not going to have seen that at the time. So, yeah, as frustrating as it is, you just have to accept that you're going to be repeating yourself forever in the accounting software world.
Yeah, exactly. Kirsty says, I quickly did a search effort before asking a question so I don't look silly. Yeah. That's one way of saving it, isn't it? And Chris Dannon says, feature and capability awareness. Welcome to my... Oh, yeah. Good point. Yeah. Especially when you have something as in-depth as the Sage ecosystem is, right? Like, yeah, there must be... I mean, how many times have we been told off on this podcast alone because we've said that Sage doesn't do X, Y, Z, and then suddenly realize actually it does do X, Y, Z. We're just... misinformed fools. Yeah, exactly. Paul says, how about a round table type event? I completely agree, but then you're only talking to the round table, right? Like, and this is the problem, isn't it? Right?
If you don't attend, you've had it.
You don't attend, you know, but then it's...
And we've seen that at the QuickBooks Accounting Council. Like, we feel like we've made several steps forward, but a couple of people haven't attended that meeting. So the next meeting, you feel like the ones that have attended feel like they're 3 steps backwards from where they were because we're having to bring the other people up to speed.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And I also... Yeah, I think as well, any of these roundtable events, any of these councils, any of these sort of opportunities like this, I think this has to be an agreement to everyone there that you're not just there to feedback and understand and learn and figure out yourself, but also you've got to be a spokesperson to the rest of the community in one way or another to pass that information on, right? And I think that's yeah, something that's we need to go forward. Right, we are vastly running out of time as always, so let's just quickly go through some of the other topics that we wanted to go through. First and foremost, FAB, Festival of Accounting and Bookkeeping. We've got more information and it's looking good. What we are now, just over a month away now, a month and a few days now before
to the end of February, mate. No, we're weeks away. Oh no, I'm thinking QuickBooks. Hang on.
Yeah.
No, like
middle of March,
weeks.
isn't it? We're all right. Okay, we're not quite middle of Feb, but yeah, we are. It's coming. It's going to come around quicker than it should do. Yep. So get your hotels, get your everything else booked, all that sort of stuff, all that good stuff there. In fact, I've got to figure out that I think there's a 2-step to getting yourself registered. You might want to keep an eye on, because I feel like there's an extra step you have to do. So, and we'll try and keep you in there. But they release who's speaking and who's going to be there and all that sort of good stuff. So get yourself over to the Festival of Accounting and Bookkeeping. There seems to be a bit of an excitement buzz coming around this, isn't there? Which is exactly what we wanted from this. I think definitely looking to do it different. So
it's not just accountants and bookkeepers and software vendors that are speaking. It's people that have got expertise in fields that should be coming into the space, like mental health, ability, wellness, and dealing with stress and communication skills and leadership skills and stuff that actually our industry could do with some more powerful insights, and we need to stop relying on fellow accountants and bookkeepers to have that knowledge. Actually, we need to bring genuine experts in from that field, and that's what Fab seem to be doing here, which is very exciting.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, just looking at the names on there, it's absolutely stacked. So definitely get yourself over there. Mine and your faces appear there, which is we can say we're excited for. We're looking forward to getting involved and just a different event. And I think that's they've gone about it the right way. It's a different location than everyone else, because it's not London, and they are definitely looking to bring some extra bits there, which we're excited to be involved in and can't wait to get involved in. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Podcasting.
Yeah, it's going to be brilliant. It's going to be absolutely brilliant. So FAB, get yourself over there, get yourself booked in, get yourself sorted out. I mean, hotels for that is going to be easy as anything, right? Because there's some nice hotels just on that. On that thing.
It's Birmingham, so you can stay anywhere in and around Birmingham or the NEC. Like, because if you go into Birmingham, just go into Birmingham train station, and they run a blooming train to the NEC constantly. So connection wise, it's just going to be so easy. It's well thought out from a location point of view, which means affordability of hotels is better, but also on the day travel's better. Like Birmingham's a big place, lots of train services going into it. It's going to be so much easier than like Coventry or Twickenham or all of these other funny places that we've seen events in the past. So yeah, I think they've nailed it from that point of view, and what they're trying to achieve with the atmosphere and the festival type and thing and marquees and all that stuff sounds amazing.
Yeah, we can't wait. We're looking forward to it. And just have a look at the speakers that have already been done there. I promise you'll definitely see it. I feel like as well, we've got a lot of people who have they seem to be accepting this one is one of the ones where, if you've got childcare or whatever the reason can mean, you can only attend the one day. I don't feel like this event you're penalized for that, and I think that's going to be a good a good selling point for it as well, because everyone I've spoke or seen on social media and everything else, and they've just said I can only go for this date or that date. Everyone's been like, that's absolutely fine. Like that's that you're not going to be penalized for it, which I feel like some of the other events, if you can't do both of them, you do feel like you're missing out. There's something, that you know what I mean. There seems to be more.
There's a lot of focus from. I was chatting to Mike Goldsmith and the team behind the event before Christmas. There's a lot of focus about mental well-being, not from talking about it, but actually, look, we get walking through those doors and seeing thousands of people and all these bright stands and flashy lights and everything else is overwhelm. And a lot of accountants and bookkeepers don't like overwhelm. They like to they're used to working at home and stuff and on their own. So it's all very overwhelming when you go into big events like that. Now, you and I walk into those events and we get an absolute buzz from it. Like, that is our adrenaline kick. It's like, cool, let's do this. This is going to be amazing. Others don't.
Yeah, exactly right.
They're doing a real big focus on quiet spaces and things that are, things are happening so that people can just go, right, I need 15 minutes just to decompress and think and process what I've just listened to from this session or whatever it is. And they've got that facility, which is great to see because we haven't seen that at events. Like, Daz is an amazing sensory event if you go in there. But actually, if you're visually impaired or if you've got hearing difficulties, then actually Daz is a bleeding nightmare because it's very dark and flashy lights everywhere. Going to Accountex and it's amazing, but 10,000 people make a lot of noise. And it's a huge space. And, I think we've always been very good at events for mobility and making sure if you've got limited mobility or no mobility, that's not an issue. You can get around these events because they are in big flat spaces primarily.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we haven't always been great with mental welfare. But it sounds like Fab are making a real big effort on that this year, which I think is just fantastic to make it more inclusive from that point of view.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Yeah, looking forward to it. And I can't believe the festival, it's festival season now. It's not, it's not conference season. I can't believe the conference season is literally a stone's throw away. It's mental. Speaking of festival accounting and bookkeeping, one of the speakers there is Tom from Accounting Web, and Tom from Accounting Web does his weekly accounting bites, and we both got a feature on it this week. So I thought that was quite a historical event. It wasn't. We both got a feature of the same thing. It was independently, wasn't it? So you got a nice shout out about client engagement, some of the enhancements and features that have gone forward. How do you find it? Do you feel like it was a good representation of hard work you put in?
Yeah, I think, I mean, Tom's always a fantastic writer and he always sends you proof beforehand and he's always happy to adapt things, etc. We didn't get trolled for anything on Accounting Web, which I think that says it all, really. If you don't get trolled on Accounting Web for an article that you're named in, then happy days. It was a good article. Great to keep getting the word out there to a wider audience, and it's just nice to chat with Tom. And the amount of stuff when you chat with Tom that's like off the record, as it were, and he gives you his insights, you give him his, and you compare notes and stuff. He's just a really nice guy to catch up with. And I love the fact that we kick off the week every Monday morning at 8:30, and he finishes the week. Like the moment that his stream comes onto LinkedIn, I go, "Oh, it's nearly time to finish for the day. That's it. The week's nearly over. Tom's talking about tech." So
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
It's become a really nice weekly routine from him.
Yeah, and long may it continue. And there was some good insights. There always is. I think for me, the bit that I was just a bit more proud of than normal was the fact that it was such a geeky topic for me. So I was going into some of the elements of the deep links and everything that I went to on a recent video. In fact, I got a bit of recognition. I thought it was quite good. Normally, those geekier topics like that just you don't see them. So it's good to see that going through. So very, very happy with that. And it was great to see that was going forward. And final bit of news today, let's talk about a little release over in the world of Apple. So let's do our little tech talk that we like to go through and talk about some of the technology that's gone out there. Now, how much FOMO realistically have you got, seeing though that the whole of YouTube has just been talking about the World of Vision Pro? So are you now more excited, less excited? Are you now going is it a day one purchase for you now? How's it gone? So for anyone who doesn't know, Apple released their Vision Pro, which is their AR VR headset, to the US on Friday. It went live. And if you have any subscription to YouTube in any point of view, I'm sure you've seen that there's been a few reviews out there, should we say. So what's your overall opinion, Jan? Are you excited, not excited, more excited, less excited? How's it going?
I'm not experiencing the FOMO I think you're experiencing. I don't know. Like, I think it's a really cool bit of tech. I don't think it's going to be powering my workplace just yet. I probably need version 2 or 3 by the time before we get to that point where that's it. I'm in my Vision Pro for work. When I look at, I'm looking around my desk now and just thinking, none of this is going to talk to that. Like my audio, my screen sharing, all of that stuff. And it's like, I think it's great. I think it could be very good fun. I think it's going to be amazing for watching videos and consuming content on. I think it's got a huge opportunity for education and teaching people, and for people to see things in a different light. But yeah, I'm not itching at the piece to go and get it. I mean, and to be fair, I've not seen that many videos on my YouTube channel.
Really?
Like, no, I think based on Amazon and YouTube at the moment, I'm obsessed with carbon fiber tripods for cameras and or like electronic tripods, and like some of the videos and adverts I'm getting at the moment are, I sit there going, oh, that's incredible. And I go, I have no use for it whatsoever. I just don't need it. So yeah, no, I'm not suffering the FOMO from it. I'm okay. I think I'm more likely to suffer FOMO from new iPads coming out in the next few weeks or months than I am the Vision Pro. Like if they launched a new iPad in March and Vision Pro in the UK, I'd probably just pick up a new iPad. I don't think I'm at the point I've seen enough to convince me that the Vision Pro for $3,500 is going to be incredible.
I mean, it's more than $3,500. It's
Well, yeah, especially with our eyesight.
Yeah. I'm shocked because at one point you were a day one purchase, weren't you, when you first saw it? Yeah. But
I think the concept's phenomenal.
Yeah.
But and I've been dabbling with the concept of like the Meta one and the Google one and stuff. Like VR, it's a great idea, but it's still a bit too gimmicky for the value, for the return on investment at the moment. I don't think it's quite as productive as I'd want it to be to justify the price point.
Shocked. Absolutely shocked. That's not what I expected to.
I mean, it could be worse. I could be saying I'm waiting for the Android version.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, you've been tempted before over to the dark side, so yeah, I wouldn't have been too surprised. But no, yeah,
leave me alone.
It's definitely a tech to keep an eye on. I think you're right. I think this one is not going to change the world because there are some limitations to it because of technology as it is at the moment. So, but we'll see. We'll see what it comes. It may never even come to the UK. Like if it's been that much, if it's not shifted the numbers it needs to shift, then maybe they just not bother and they wait for version 2 or whatever needs to come out, and then that's what comes over. So we'll see what comes along. But no, I was expecting you to be all excited about it, and as well as, but yeah, no, if you're not going to be excited, don't be excited about it. That is absolutely fine. Yeah, go from there. So I mean, my favorite, we were talking off air, my favorite thing that we learned about it was, for us, the idea would be, or the use case that we feel like has the most amount of sense, is that we get our amazing tech that we've got sat at our desk now and we take that away with us. And the best use case for that would be sat on a train, being able to do all of the work, being able to edit your videos or do some really important work without the worry that anyone else can see it, because that's one of the nice features, right? If you share your screen goes off, so no one else can see that. So yeah, that you need to kind of you'll feel a little bit weird sat on a train with this big monitor on your head. But if you get past that, the idea is that you could then be doing a tax return, no one else can see it, or you could edit a video, no one else can see it, because it can be a little bit kind of weird sat there editing your own video while on a train, right? But then it seems like, from a technology point of view at the moment, that if that train's moving, then that screen will move with it. Won't move with it. Therefore, for you sat in Edinburgh station ready to go and the train moves off, well, that screen leaves and stays in Edinburgh. So the one use case that we thought was going to be worthwhile isn't quite going to work by the looks of it. So yeah, more you know. Right. Well, with that then, I think that is the end of today.
Yeah.
Any more talk about Vision Pro, or are we done?
No, I think we're done. I think, yeah, watch this space, because a lot of it's potentially software updates that could improve Vision Pro. So yeah, we'll see what they roll out in the upcoming weeks and months with Vision Pro and updates there, and go from there.
Yeah, maybe yet we'll still be the first to file in Vision Pro. We'll see how that goes. Just a couple of last bits of comments. LinkedIn News says, good morning all. Sorry I'm late. Well, unfortunately, sorry we're late to acknowledge you're here as well, because we're all about to go. And FAB is going to be amazing, says LinkedIn user. Right then, so that is it. We are back to same place, same time next week, 8:30 a.m. as always. Don't forget to reach out or listen out to our podcast that goes live on the Wednesday as well. And with that, we will see you all next week. Thanks, everyone. Oh, quickly, Johann, anything they should be looking out for? Any social media, anything that you want to plug before?
I'm going to do a video. So I did a video over the weekend about my Claude AI note tool, which is incredible. I'm really enjoying that. And that did very well, actually, as a video for me. But I've also, I'm in that process of starting to get ready for the conference season. So on Sunday, I popped out and picked up my vocal zones, which are my throat pastels I use to get me through these events. And I'm going to do a video ready for this weekend on the benefits of taking a power bank with you, and my recommended power banks, because I've gone through quite a few power banks in the past. I've got 2 I'm loving, so I'll show you those.
Nice. Looking forward to that one. We'll definitely have to talk about the AI plaid. What are we calling it? What's it called?
Plaid. Sorry, Claude.
We'll definitely talk about that next week, because I think there's some definitely burning questions, and you'll have more time to be able to answer those questions as well. All right, everybody. Same time, same place next week. We look forward to seeing you. Enjoy the rest of the week. Enjoy the fact that we're not having January. February is the best month of all time, so make the most out of it. We will see you all next week. I'm still feeling it, because I'm still trying to find my outro. Bye, everyone.
Bye bye.